ngaturangidze kuti zvese zviri kufamba zvakanaka tichange tichikuunziraika zvese zvichange zvichiitika kuno kuNational Heroes eka apo tiri kutarisira kuti mutungamiri wenyika Comrade Emmerson Mnangagwa vachange vachisvika munguva pfupi inotevera.
As we anticipate, like you rightfully said, the arrival of His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Comrade Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa. Now we are joined by Comrade Mavunga to further understand, in terms of the significance of this day, what it means to the nation of Zimbabwe and to the coming generation, what they should know. Comrade Mavunga, thank you so much for joining us, Minister. And we should start by saying Happy Heroes Day. What does this mean for the nation of Zimbabwe at large?
To the nation of Zimbabwe, I say this is a great day. A day whereby we celebrate those who died for our country and those who are still surviving but experienced difficulties during the liberation struggle.
Minister, thank you so much for explaining that. But let's look at the generation that dedicated its life, sacrificed a lot, and went to fight for the liberation that we celebrate today. Now we have a completely different generation. What needs to be done so that the ethos, the values of the liberation struggle will be kept going?
I think by educating them through the Staple School of Ideology, and by letting them work with the freedom fighters who are still surviving, they will learn the importance of safeguarding the independence that was brought by those who sacrificed their lives. So I say to the new generation, it is your time to guard jealously the independence that was brought by the freedom fighters we are celebrating today. I say to you, try by all means to participate in the development of the country. Don't be involved in drug abuse, as you will not be able to defend your country.
Let's talk about women who sacrifice their lives. I understand when it comes to war, back then it was anticipated that only men were expected to join the liberation struggle. But we've got many women, daughters then, sisters, who left their homes, who left their schools and went to join the liberation struggle. What is the role of women currently in ensuring that Zimbabwe will keep going on the development trajectory?
Like the women did during the war, they fought side by side their fellow male combatants, and right now they are also involved in the development of this country. We have ministries like the Ministry of Women Affairs, where women are being encouraged to work hard just like another person. So we are saying to the women of today, there is nothing impossible. You can also do it like your fellow countermen.
Lastly, Honorable, as we round off the conversation, this is coming at a time where Zimbabwe is also hosting the 44th SADC Summit right here in Zimbabwe. Can you maybe let us know the significance of the what you can maybe call coincidence of having the SADC Summit coming in the month of August, where we also get to celebrate Heroes Day?
As you know, we fought for peace. We fought for development, the development that we are seeing through all the works that are being done by the President through his Vision 2030, which we are to achieve through National Development Strategy. And this is the same month we are celebrating our heroes who brought this independence, whereby we have the freedom to develop our country. So I say to the President, congratulations for becoming the new SADC chairperson. We are going to support you fully by way of keeping on going ahead with your developmental agenda.
Honorable Minister, thank you so much for coming through and enjoy the rest of your day. Honorable Minister, right there, explaining to us the significance of this day, what it means, and how also this current generation can maximize on the ethos, the values, and the spirit which drove Zimbabweans who back then went to the war and liberate this nation we are celebrating today. Lucy, we have heard, she explained the role of women, how it was important for the women to come through and fight together with their men. And today, in this particular development trajectory that the country is on, women should be at the center of this, Lucy.
And twadzimvwa kabi kuti ivanakazi very important, madzimai vakakosha zvakare. Tinoona kuti kunyangwe pakaendwa kuhondoka, madzimai havana kusara, vakatakurawo pfuti dzavo vachienda kunosunungura nyika yeZimbabwe. Omama lavo bahamba bakona njalo abakona kona pangase National Heroes eka amai Sali Mugabe vari pano, umama umafuyana ukona la ekona pa banengi omama abakona lapha abanceda ukuthi ilizwe leZimbabwe libe libe ngelikhululekileyo. Yinto ke ekhuthazwa la namhlanje ukuthi abesifazana kasihambe nini phambili, kasincede nini ekukhululeni ekuthini lathi sithuthuke, ikakhulu nxa sikhangele amandla enotho. Abesifazana bahlala bekhuthazwa ke ukuthi kasiqhubekele nini phambili sisenza imisebenzi engasisiza. Abesifazana yibo ke ababhekane lezimuli, yibo ababhekane lezinto ezinengi. Ngokunjalo ukuqhakathekile ukuthi abesifazana baqhubekele ke phambili besenza imisebenzi. Njalo sihlezi sibona unkosikazi kamongameli umama Auxilium Mnangagwa uhlala ekhuthaza ukuthi abesifazana kasiyenze nini imisebenzi yethu, kasikhuthale nini. Sithatha ke inyathelo elathathwa yilabo abasuka besiyalwela ilizwe leZimbabwe, okuyibo ke esibathakazelelayo namhlanje, okuyibo esikhumbula impilo zabo namhlanje. Abanye basaphila basakhona, abanye balele khonapha ngoba silabo, abanye abakhonapha eNational Heroes Acre, abanye bakhona kuma Provincial Heroes Acre, abanye bakuma District Heroes Acre. Njalo Ian tiri kuona kuti memberero dzekuphemberera kurangarira magamba akarwira nyika dziri kuitwa nyika yose. Tiri pano ndo pari kuitwa national celebrations, asi kuma province nekuma districts vanhu vari kutopemberera upenyu hwevarwi vehondo yerusununguko.
Yes, very true. Wherever you might be, you have a chance to join celebrations happening at district level, provincial levels, across all the 10 provinces right here in Zimbabwe. But yes, His Excellency will be presiding over the national celebrations happening here at the National Heroes Acre. And as we are speaking, the Vice President, Dr. Chiwenga, has also arrived, as well as some senior government officials are already coming through to make sure that they do get to be part and parcel of the celebrations that are taking place today. And like Lucy said, very true that today it's a day to celebrate, it's a day to be happy as we look back and also not just celebrate but learn the lessons that these sons and daughters who died for this country laid for us to copy. And talking about development, they said some of the young people today are always talking about drug and substance abuse, and His Excellency has actually launched a task force that will fight this, and it is such spirits that would love then to see really becoming central in terms of the young people's mindsets development and also ensuring we get to work for the country. And as we have said, those who have come today are celebrating, they are singing music that speaks to the liberation struggle, music that reminds us those days when Zimbabwe was still under the colonial rule, and the decision that was made by the sons and daughters of Zimbabwe to go and fight. And talk of some of the key battles that were fought. Remember the Genoa 7, the famous one, the first one that we saw, the Zimbabweans really saying we are tired of this colonial rule and we have to make sure we fight it by all means necessary. Lucy, there are so many battles. Talk about Chimurenga 1, Chimurenga 2, the roles of those who are described as Vanachi Mbwido, Nana Mujiba, cheering up, providing information, providing food, running up and down, protecting information that will then protect those who are in the bush to make sure that they are protected from the enemy. And surely everyone played an important role, Lucy. Quite important that we celebrate all those who did not went actually to the war, but we also supporting from a distance.
Ankulumba akatwinkira ikunembo katulanga ikuti nzingi izili kuchitika ivana ibali kusungwazigwa ikuti valegane akutola izintu izikola vave imbabo ivathola ma examples ababa ibakalwana inkondo ava vakalinka kunkondo kabali bantu ibasimide nkamboka kuti twalanga suno ivana ibayingi vategwa bali kubamba bathola zikola bali kubamba bali kuchita izintu zitelede abobo nchintu ichitelede ikuti chive inchicho ichichitika gati ukhala kalibasungwazigwa ikutegwa amulegane azikola nkambo inyika iyanda ndinyo mulirya junza inyika iyanda ndinyo muzobe indinyo imwenda anjiyo ikuchitira ikuti izobe kiyenda ikabotu ku ikurudziro kune vachiri kukura kuti siyanai nezvinodhaka. Mutungamiri wenyika vanogara vachitaura pari zvino vakuru venyika vari kusvika, maministers vari kusvika pano vari kutopinda tichiona kuti zvakawanda zvichaitika muzuva ranhasi takamirira kusvika kwevakuru Ian.
Now we do have so many guests that are coming through to make sure that we get to speak to them, understanding more and more of the significance of those who have got relatives who are buried here. Now I am joined by Dr. Parirenyatwa, son of the late national hero, Dr. Parirenyatwa. Now let's get to hear more from him. Dr. Parirenyatwa, thank you so much for joining us. Let's start by understanding your father buried here at the National Heroes Acre. What does that mean to you as a son and the lessons we can learn as a nation?
Yes, I learned quite a lot of things because when my father was was when he was assassinated in 1962 because of the struggle. The government then, of course, didn't want to know anything about it. But at independence, it was recognized that let's bring him here to the Heroes Acre. And to me, it was a big reminder that our country has now come to realize the importance of people who have fought for this country. You know, this day, in the past, it used to be called Rhodes and Founders. Rhodes had decided to commemorate the founders of, the white founders of so-called Rhodesia, and we changed it to Heroes Day. And the significance is that all the people who fought heroically for this country are recognized by being buried here. But more importantly, it passes a message to the younger generation. It is a reminder to them. Each time they come here, including my own children, when they come here, it hits them very hard that there were forerunners to them who fought for this country. And therefore, they are also inspired and recognize that this country just didn't come on a silver plate. It did come through a fight, a bloody struggle. And I'm so glad that it is being recognized every year and every year.
You clearly explained the nature in which this day is important, but you had a chance to learn from your father, a man who was then declared a national hero. What sort of lessons did you say the spirit that was upon those who went to the war was like? Can you briefly describe it as a man who had a first-hand experience to a man who was close to you, your father?
My father was extremely fearless. He was a fearless fighter, but very strategic in his fight. And you learn those two things. You must be fearless. You must be strategic in whatever you do. And those lessons to me really imprinted on me that you just don't go blindly, even if you are angry, but you must strategically plan and be able to be brave and carry out what you plan strategically. And you learn those sort of things among all the cadres that that became freedom fighters. They had to be strategic. They had to be very, very brave. They had to be self-sacrificial. To say to, well, tirikuda nyika yedu tichairwira chete kusvika taiwina kubva kuvarungu. Saka struggle hiyo haisati yapera, tichiri kurwisana nevarungu in another form, what you call neo-colonialism, where now they've managed to really excel in imperialism. So that you find the big multinational companies still oppress us here, and it's an extension of the same oppression. So we need. That's why we're talking of value addition, ownership of our land. It continues to be a theme that we must carry through. So I learned that resilience, to be very, very brave, but very strategic.
Quite important sentiments you shared there. But as we round off the conversation, now the country is on a quest to become an upper middle-income society. How important is the strategy you said? How important is the braveness you made reference to, especially looking at the demography of the country, the young people? How best can they be central in terms of having those three elements in pushing for the national vision?
Well, what I like about the Second Republic is that they are now recognizing, and they have been recognizing, the importance of the youth. The youth have been put to center stage. And also when you complement it with the Chitepo School of ideology, and the president himself being at the center of this, to say, let's trust this. And the liberation, that liberation museum, all those things will mold our youths to be able to carry through the fight that was started long back. And I am sure that if we can have a core of youths who are always saying to ourselves, the country belongs to us, and they know the history, that will go a long way.
Dr. Paranyora, thank you so much. Your message to Zimbabweans who are watching you from various parts of the country and beyond our borders today?
Well, let's celebrate and commemorate this day and still remember that they are fighters, and those at home are still fighters. The struggle is still on, but more economic than what it was before.
Dr. Paranyora, thank you so much for coming through. We all have a role to play. Other words are coming through from Dr. Paranyora to say, let's be strategic, let's be brave, let's be fearless, and fight for all that belongs to us. And he made reference to issues around economic empowerment, mindset transformation, especially for the young people. They need to have the correct narrative. Like His Excellency is always saying, let's write our own story. Let's demystify what has been mystified by those who wrote about Africa. Yet we do have those who can. And he made reference to the Museum of African Liberation Struggle, which is adjacent to this particular shrine again. And if maybe you have been driving around Blaue Road, right at Weinberg, you might see works being done to ensure that the history and the war memorabilia that you also see being collected will still speak of the importance of this particular day. Lucy, Dr. Parenyatwa explained the significance, especially of unity and working together, so that the National Heroes Day will remain important and its significance will be carried forward to the coming generations.
Mbombo bombukuli kuchitika nkatuliwo nkuko kuno tulumbe ikapati iye nwazwa kwambula a Dr. Parenyatwa nzizizyo izili kuchitika kabi ikwalino gatulangide ikuti kuli ibali kusika mpawawa National Heroes eka gatulindide ikunjila ikwaba pati ikuti bazobe kabendelezga iprogram yazuba ilyasunu kuliwo kabi ikubona ikuti ibantu bali kubotelwa ibantu bali kuimba ibantu bali kulizga ngoma zonse zili kuchitika mpawano a National Heroes eka vasinzubo izgabantu ibalede wano abalabo mpubali valijisi imaluba abo muchindi ichi yakunembo mbanga sikuzobika imaluba abo mugati mpawawa amaumbwe abasinzubo izgabo izgakatusia basinzubo zgabo ikuchitira ikutikabi mbombubo mbutuli kubayeya mbombubo mbutuli kubalemeka mugati ikabuzuba ibwasunu yikho-ke muli yeZimbabwe izihlobo-ke zamaqhawe alele lapha zikhona lazo zithe gwaqa zithwele-ke amaluba okuthi ngemva-ke kwesikhatshana nxa umongameli esethule amazwi akhe amqoka bebe sebebeka-ke amaluba wona lawo ukwenzela phela ukuhlonipha lokukhumbula izihlobo ezilele khonapha izihlobo ezakhulula ilizwe-ke leZimbabwe tuli bamvide ibantu bali kuimba ibantu bali kuba imbabo ibali kuba antomwe andiswe mukati ikachechi no ichindi mumabambe ngithuli awo mukati ikachechi ichindi yikho okwenzakalayo sikhonapha ngase National Heroes eka ukuze-ke phela sikhumbule imisebenzi emihle sikhumbule okuhle konke okwayenziwayo zvakanaka zvakaitwa tiri kuona kuti muri dzevashakabvu dziripo pano iyeni vakabata maruva vari kumirira kuti vagozoshongedza vachirangarira ka hama dzavo dzakarwira nyika yeZimbabwe.
You can say that again. We have seen sons, daughters, wives, and nephews, grandchildren of the sons and daughters of the liberation struggle who died fighting for this country, coming with a symbol of remembrance. They are coming with flowers to make sure that they also honor and remember those who are laid to rest right here. But remember, there's also the tomb of the unknown soldiers, those who died in various parts where the liberation struggle was taking place. Talk of recently, it is the massacres, variant massacres that took place during the Chimurenga war, and we have seen families who come through with that particular tomb of the unknown soldier, representing all those who were not brought home but buried in various parts of the country, and even beyond our borders are also remembered. And like Lucy rightfully said, that it is all about remembrance and also learning from their lives, from their sacrifice, from the journey that they traveled. And if you are just joining us, we are live from the National Heroes Eka, where we are expecting His Excellency to arrive shortly. He is the one who is going to be presiding over the celebrations, and we are going to hear so much that he's going to talk about it. Every time His Excellency speaks about the heroes, he said we need to learn the strategy that we have heard also from Dr. Parenyatwa to say those who went to the war were determined, they were fearless, and this is the message that young people of today must also embrace. And it is the month of August, like I said, when we were starting, very important month in the history of Zimbabwe, and we're also seeing the country hosting the 44th SADC Summit, and we have seen some banners, Lucy, right here, people celebrating that Zimbabwe is hosting that and celebrating that His Excellency who also taking over the chairmanship to Zimbabwe. Some milestones are in the development of the country to ensure that we are also at the center of ensuring that our region continues to grow. Zimbabwe, previously the breadbasket of Africa, and now that is the message we want to go back towards that, Lucy, to make sure that we keep fighting and we do get to have economy improving more and more. We like Vision 2030, leaving no one and no place behind, Lucy.
Afghan! Afghan! Still up!
mpawano a National Heroes eka ikuthi kabi zili kwendabeni izintu izyankuko musololi wanyika basika mutungamiri wenyika vashika phano apha National Heroes eka sefikile ke umongameli welizwe sifuna ke ukuthi sibe siliphathela okwenzakalayo khona ngapha sililethela konke kumsakazo wakho owe-ZBC TV la ku-ZBC News 24 silethulela ke into ezenzakalayo ngapha siliphathela ke konke ngokwenzakala kwakho sikhangelela ukuthi umongameli welizwe uza kwethula amazwi amqoka ngalona lolu suku lusuku oluqhakathekileyo embalini yelizwe leZimbabwe lusuku olumqoka kakhulu embalini yelizwe leZimbabwe sikhangelele ukuthi sizakuzwa ke amazwi amqoka asuka wona kumongameli welizwe sizwe ukuthi kuyabe basilungiseleleni kuyini abazasitshela khona namhlanje ukuze phela lathi sisuke lapha sizwile abalendlebe bezizwela ngoba isikhathi esiningi kukhona ukukhuzwa kukhona ikakhulu kwabatsha ngoba okusenzakalayo kulezi insuku abatsha hayi basadinga ukukhuzwa ngokunjalo umongameli uhlala ebakhuzile iyen siqhubekela ke phambili ngohlelo.
Yes, Lucy, as you can tell from the background, people are happy. They are celebrating as they see their leaders coming through to the National Heroes Eka, and today they will get to celebrate. Now we have seen His Excellency has actually arrived. The people and the noise you are hearing from the background, people are celebrating that the president has now arrived, and you can tell the delegation, all the senior government officials are also attending the National Heroes Day celebrations. This means so much to the country, as this event will not go unnoticed every August, to make sure that we get to remember and honor the sons and daughters who fought for this country, and we will continue to make sure that we still talk about their significance, the roles they play. And earlier on, Lucy made reference to the families that are bringing flowers, coming through to see their relatives, at least to remember them and show their grandchildren what sort of men and women they were, describing what they did back then in the war. Quite some significant moments we are seeing, and now His Excellency being celebrated and being welcomed by the thousands of people who are gathered right here at the National Heroes Eka. He is walking slowly towards the main podium here. He will be actually presiding over, and we get to hear a speech from His Excellency. Like I said, it is the month of August, very important. Tomorrow we'll celebrate the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, and still we have seen quite a number of those within the Zimbabwe Defense Forces coming through today to also celebrate together with the nation. Members from the various religious sectors are also here at the National Heroes Eka. The young people singing continuously, the women who are also coming through, and everyone is part and parcel of these celebrations. As you have seen, Lucy, quite important that no one is left behind in these particular celebrations.
twinkhira kunembo tulindide ikuti kuvewa ikunjira mukati ikachuno iwa msololi uwanyika pesi tulangide ikuti basika igale tulamwetera zigonso zili kuchitika igwa lino msololi iwanyika basika igale abali kuba imbabo ibali kuendelezga imabambe akuti babe gabatanta mukati ikachuno ichabo nzizizgo izili kuchitika tumvide ibantu ibali kuimba bali kunonezga bantu bali kuzyana ndizuba ilya kupobola ndizuba ilya kuya ibumi ibwabantu ibakalipeda ndizuba ili tupede imantuwe mbulibana Zimbabwe ndizuba lyakulemeka basibunkuthwe mbwene ibakalwanina inyika ya Zimbabwe bakayilwanina inyika eyi ikuti yangunuke abobo mbimbabo ibali kuba gaba yeta ikuti twangunuke ikwalino ali amutedi ikwalino tutedi twinkhire kunembo tuchite ikuti tumupe izili kuchitika pari zvino muri yeZimbabwe regaika tichikuunzirai zviri kuitika kuno ku National Heroes Eka.
Good morning, Your Excellency. Half Guard, mounted by Presidential Guard, composed of one Half Guard commander, one Half Guard second in command, and 18 sentries, a total of 20, all formed up in open order, ready for your inspection, Your Excellency.
humorous, of tranquility. Oh yeah, oh yes. Let's preach unity, the gospel of peace, of humorous, of tranquility. Oh yes, ever important. No unity, no peace, no peace, no development, no development, no jobs. You see, it's ever important. No unity, no peace, no peace, no development, no development, no jobs. You see, it's ever important. You need the gospel of peace, of humanity, of tranquility. Oh yes, ever important. No Shona, no Ndebele, no Kalanga, no Venda. Oh yes, ever important. No colors, no Zezuru, no Long live internationalism. Oh yeah, it's ever important. You went to unit is ever important.
Your Excellency, my name is Mike Masaka, and I'm standing in for the Permanent Secretary. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe and the Commander-in-Chief of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, Comrade Dr. Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, the First Lady, Amai Dr. Honorable Vice President, General Retired Dr. C.G.D.N. Chiwenga, and Honorable Vice President, Colonel Retired K.C.D. Mohati, all protocol observed. To take us through today's program, allow me to invite the Minister of Home Affairs and Cultural Heritage, Honorable Kazembe Kazembe. Honorable Minister, say.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Head of State and Government, and Commander-in-Chief of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, Comrade Dr. Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, and the First Lady, Amai Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa, the Honorable Vice President, General Retired Dr. C.G.D.N. Chiwenga, and Amai Chiwenga, and the Honorable Vice President, Colonel Retired Comrade KCD Mohadi. Your Excellency, I would like to welcome you to this momentous occasion, the 2024th commemoration of heroes and heroines, an event which is being commemorated not only at this sacred shrine, but also in all the other provinces of our beloved Zimbabwe. To begin the proceedings of the day, Your Excellency, allow me to invite the Minister of Religion, Reverend Albert Kibi Mulea, to lead us in prayer. Minister of Religion.
His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Head of State and Government, and Commander-in-Chief of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, President Comrade Dr. Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa. Her Excellency, the First Lady of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa. In the interest of time, allow me to say all protocols observed. Your Excellency, allow me to take you through some Bible reading and prayer. My reading is taken from the book of 2 Corinthians chapter number 3, verse number 17, which reads, "Now the Lord is the Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty." And my second reading is taken from Psalm 33, verse number 12. And I read, "Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord, the people he chose for his inheritance." End of my reading. Your Excellency, allow me to just attempt to answer two questions. The first question being, why do we celebrate? Why do we commemorate? It is a real truth that you celebrate something that is good. Unorangarira zvakanaka, wotenda wofara, wopembera. I came here early in the morning, Your Excellency, and the morale in here is outstandingly good. Why? Because the great works done by both our living and fallen heroes is there for everyone to celebrate. Hakuna unogona kuvhara ziso akati haasi kuzviona. The freedom we enjoy as a country is the sacrifice, the result of the good work that people put their lives on the neck and make sure that we are free. Where say muno ari muno, even those who are following us from across the globe, I want to answer the second question. Why do we celebrate? You say, I'm asking it for the second time. True. Why do we celebrate? Because we have made God our Lord. And the writer says, "Blessed is the nation whose God shall be the Lord." Your Excellency, allow me to announce that the Spirit of the Lord is upon Zimbabwe. The love of the Lord is upon Zimbabwe. The peace of the Lord is upon Zimbabwe. And when we celebrate the heroes, I want to make my last announcement. Heroes are not born, but they go through a meal. And a meal that is loaded with thorns and thistles, pain and tears, languish and poverty. But they remain resolute and say, for the sake of Zimbabwe, I will stand. When we hear the narration of the liberation of this country, when we hear the history of the liberation of this country, and the protection and defense that men and women have put for this country to remain where it is today. We say, if God was not with us, our enemies would have consumed us alive. But because God is our Lord, we are happy and proud that God will still take us to the next step. 2030, we are coming. Unstoppable. Why? Because the Spirit of the Lord is upon us. You will allow me to pray. Dear Heavenly Father, let your grace cover us, not only now, but into our future. We have generations to come. We have children to come. We have developments to achieve. We have great goals to achieve. Without you, Lord, we are not able. It is my desire and my prayer that, God, you take care of our leadership. His Excellency the President, you gave us, and we are happy to have him, not only here, but across the country and across the globe. We are proud to have him, because we know he would not have come if you have not released him unto us. It is my prayer that, God, you remember his deputies. You remember the First Lady. You remember the entire leadership of government. You remember every player in this country, for peace to prevail now and forevermore. We pray in the name of the Father, of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. I pray, and the crowd shouts, Amen.
With over 100 years of experience, you have made Doves the funeral assurance service provider of choice. We provide you with a range of funeral service solutions tailor-made to your needs and income for you to give your loved ones a dignified send-off. Take a Doves policy today and cover your family. Visit the Doves website or contact Doves via social media today to know about the affordable policies and services we offer that suit you. We are here to serve you and will always be for the ones you love.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Head of State and Government, and Commander-in-Chief of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, Comrade Dr. Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, and the First Lady, Amai, Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa, the Honorable Vice President, General Retired Dr. CGDN Chiwenga and Amai Chiwenga, the Honorable Vice President, Colonel Retired Comrade KCD Mohadi, the Minister of Defense and National Chairman of the ruling party ZANU-PF, Comrade OCZ Muchinguri Kashiri, the Speaker of Parliament, Honorable Advocate JFN Mudenda, President of the Senate, Honorable Senator M.M. Chinomona, the Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution for Harare Metropolitan Province, Honorable Senator Charles Tawengwa, Cabinet Ministers and Deputy Ministers here present, the Chief Justice, Honorable Justice Luke Malawa, members of the Politburo Central Committee of the ruling party ZANU-PF here present, members of other political parties here present, in particular the leader of opposition in Parliament, Honorable Senator Shabangu, the Chief Secretary in the Office of the President and Cabinet, Dr. M. Rushkwaya, the Chairman of the Public Service Commission, Dr. V. Hungwe, Commander of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, General P.V. Sibanda, and other service chiefs here present, the President of the National Chiefs Council, Senator Mchana Kumalo, and other traditional chiefs here present. Your Excellencies, members of the Diplomatic Corps, the Mayor of the City of Harare, His Worship Councillor Jacob Mafume, the veterans of the liberation struggle, and other senior government officials here present, distinguished guests. Your Excellency, we also have special guests, young representatives, young youths from various countries in the SADC region. We have youths from there they go, Your Excellency. Your Midas touch is far-reaching. We have youths from the Comoros, Seychelles, Madagascar, Eswatini, Lesotho, South Africa, Zambia, Botswana, the DRC, and Malawi, Your Excellency. Ladies and gentlemen, comrades and friends, we are gathered here to commemorate, honor, and celebrate the lives and deeds of the gallant sons and daughters of Zimbabwe who lie here at this national shrine. As we celebrate this day, we also take cognizance that there are some comrades who lie at various provincial shrines and in our neighboring countries, which include Angola, Mozambique, Zambia, Botswana, and others. We also have comrades who lie in unmarked graves all over the country, Your Excellency. And you directed us to make sure that we take care of those, Your Excellency. It is a pleasure to note that this year's commemoration is coinciding with the hosting of the SADC Summit and the assumption of chairmanship by His Excellency, Comrade Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa. Chinoti makorokotoi shumba murambwi, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, pane karwiyo kangashimbwa pakona apo. Ndichavakumbira kuti vakadzokorore. Ndichakupai nguva yokadzokorora, but panga pachinzi, Your Excellency, and the chairman Manyama. It is now my singular honor and privilege to call upon you, Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Comrade Dr. Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, to address the nation. Your Excellency, sir.
rinotanga kwazvika kumaria rinotonga musha ziso karosika panzi rinosiya ratinda kangoma kekwedu kaye kanovhaya katimba kanyanya kukuriwa unowira mukumba Jerusalema kutamba kwazumba erasvika kutonga kwaro ngoma painarira ngoma yamakashaira rinofadza nenderera gamba ramakashaira kutonga kwaro kutonga kwaro kutonga kwaro kutonga kwaro kutonga kwaro kutonga kwaro aiwa hongore herendende wasikana hongore herendende mushadura aiwa hongore herendende wasikana
Pray, be seated. Our Director of Ceremonies, the Minister of Home Affairs and Cultural Heritage, Honorable K. Kazembe. The First Lady, Mary Auxilia Mnangagwa. The Honorable Vice President, Honorable General Retired Dr. C.G.D.N. Chwenga. The Honorable Vice President, Honorable Colonel Retired K.C.D. Mohadi. The Speaker of Parliament, Honorable Advocate J.F.N. Mudenda. The President of the Senate, Honorable M. Chinomona. The Chief Justice, Honorable Justice Luke Malava, Honorable Ministers and Deputy Ministers who are here, families of heroes and heroines of the Zimbabwe liberation struggle, war veterans, war collaborators, ex-detainees, and restrictees. Your Worship, the Mayor of Harare, Councillor J. Mafume, the Chief Secretary to the President and Cabinet, Dr. Martin Rushwaya, Chairman of the Public Service Commission, Dr. Vincent Ungwe, Commander Zimbabwe Defense Forces, General P.V. Svanda, Service Chiefs, Your Excellencies, members of the Diplomatic Corps, esteemed traditional leaders, madzimambo edu ndinokuremekedzai vari pano. Fellow Zimbabweans, including our brothers and sisters in the diaspora, comrades and friends, it is my great honor and privilege to address you all at these 4th Heroes' Day commemorations. Today, we are joining hands in remembering our gallant fighters who paid the supreme sacrifice to free our beautiful motherland from the grip of colonial domination and subjugation. Their extraordinary courage and the risks they took so that our independence will always be remembered. for it was they who helped shape our nation. Even in the midst of neo-colonial machinations and illegal sanctions imposed on us, let us honor our heroes with a promise that their sacrifices will serve as our light and inspiration. We vow to resolutely protect the integrity of our independence and the interests of our nation against those who wish us to fail. Ladies and gentlemen, comrades and friends, our resilience is the bedrock of our survival as a nation. As such, and against all odds, our economy continues to register positive growth. This bears testimony to the success of our diversification thrust as we forge ahead despite the illegal sanctions, climate-induced shocks, as well as international commodity price fluctuations. Through complementarity between fiscal and monetary policies, we are determined to consolidate the gains so far achieved from the price stability brought about by the Zimbabwe gold currency, ZiG. We are honoring the fighting spirit of our gallant sons and daughters through increased performance of the agriculture sector. In the midst of the El Nino-induced drought, our winter wheat cropping season continues to score remarkable successes. A record 121,982 hectares of wheat have been planted this season. Further, my government has already commenced rolling out preparations for the 2024-25 summer cropping season, which is expected to restore food security through increased production on the back of massive irrigation infrastructure, rehabilitation, expansion, and utilization. Meanwhile, government is providing social protection for vulnerable communities and households to ensure that no one starves. My fellow countrymen and women, our mining sector continues to benefit from investment into new and existing projects. I exhort players in the sector to ensure that we drive maximum benefits from the precious minerals which our heroes fought for by value adding and beneficiating them. The role of the energy and the power sector in the socio-economic development through industrialization cannot be overemphasized. Low power production levels at Kariba Power Station are being offset by the Hwange 7 and 8 expansion project, which now feeds a constant supply to the national grid. Among numerous power augmentation projects, 2 large solar plants with a total capacity of 250 megawatts are being developed and will soon be commissioned. Our manufacturing sector is expanding value addition beneficiation activities. This has seen manufacturing capacity utilization increasing to 53% and the creation of jobs which are yielding decent livelihoods. Micro, small, and medium enterprises continue to scale up new heights in promoting women empowerment and community development, and are playing a major role in the manufacturing and commercial sectors of our economy. With a view to enhancing productivity and competitiveness of micro, small, and medium enterprises, particularly those run by liberation struggle veterans, the Second Republic is prioritizing workspace provision through partnerships with patient funds, local authorities, the private sector, and development partners. We have since commissioned several safe markets and factory shelves across the country. Government will soon undertake a comprehensive skills audit, which is expected to guide our investment towards upscaling skills delivery for optimal national economic performance. The focus will be on skills required for industrialization, business enterprise, as well as effective and efficient delivery of public services to citizens in modern times. The devolution and decentralization program is also addressing specific community needs through utilizing intergovernmental fiscal transfers. Comrades and friends, infrastructure upgrading and expansion projects in the transport sector continue to deliver tremendous results for our roads, our bridges, and the related infrastructure. Focus has shifted to the Harare-Chirundu Road section, as well as the upgrading of the Harare-Kanyemba, Harare-Nyamapanda, the old Gwanda Road, and the Bide Bridge Bulawayo Victoria Falls Highway, among others. Also, there is remarkable progress at Mbudzi interchange south of Harare. The Second Republic is fully aware of the pressing need for decent shelter for our citizens. Hence, the continuing robust investment, which is transforming both urban and rural communities. The Second Republic has taken the strategic decision to position Rural Infrastructure Development Agency in all rural districts across every province. The agency is attending to both gravel and surfaced roads, wells and small dams for water provision for domestic and agricultural use, as well as infrastructure support for clinics, schools, and deep tanks. Our border posts are undergoing transformation, with physical infrastructure being complemented by technological innovations. This is enhancing the movement of goods and people, as well as regional integration. Earlier this year, the Second Republic launched the Youth Service in Zimbabwe training program. This marks an important step in ensuring that young people are patriotic and loyal citizens who reconnect with our national history and identify with the priceless sacrifices of our liberators. Our centers at Dadaya in the Midlands and Vumba in Manicaland are currently training over 1,000 youths, while vocational training centers are being modernized with the state-of-the-art machinery and digital technology. As we celebrate the achievements of our heroes and heroines, the Second Republic is committed to building a robust health delivery system that ensures the highest standards of care. Government has to date equipped 78% of district hospitals with the fully functional operating theaters for emergency maternity surgeries. This program is being rolled out to cover all similar facilities. The crusade which we declared against drug and substance abuse targets a population that is free from the menace. Among a plethora of strategies, government is focusing on sporting and arts infrastructure development, including in the rural areas where the majority of our people live. On that note, the Rafa Moyo multipurpose court, which was recently commissioned in Gutu, will be replicated across all districts. The safety and security of women and girls in an independent and a free nation is of paramount importance. Hence, we are strengthening ongoing efforts to prevent gender-based violence. Cases are being handled swiftly and firmly in order to deter future offenders. Our priority in the primary and secondary school subsector is to ensure access to quality education. Through interagency collaboration, the highest possible levels of hygiene are being enforced in order to safeguard health. We are enhancing public-private partnerships for the purpose of improving the teaching and learning environment at all previously disadvantaged schools. As it was during the liberation struggle, where cadres used to innovate during the prosecution of the war, students in the higher and tertiary education subsector are taking innovation to new heights and creating goods, services, jobs, and industries. Our commitment to the digital technology revolution is a cornerstone for empowerment. As part of the enhancement of service delivery and driving economic growth in our economy. Hence, government is seized with initiatives such as the establishment of digital hubs in rural areas. This robust ICT program is expected to improve healthcare delivery, boost agricultural productivity, and create numerous opportunities for individuals, households, and communities towards achieving prosperity. My fellow countrymen and women, the nation for which our gallant sons and daughters paid the supreme sacrifice, is richly endowed with breathtaking landscapes, wildlife, and a vibrant culture, all of which contribute to our status as the tourist destination of choice. Highlighting this, the tourism sector has been on a rebound. Recently, we successfully hosted the United Nations Gastronomy Conference, where our cuisine showcased Zimbabwe at its best. The United Nations Tourism Organization has since approved the setting up of the African International Culinary Arts Academy in our resort city of Victoria Falls. In Harare, the Liberation City will soon take its place among the biggest man-made tourist attractions, together with the Museum of African Liberation, from which all progressive nations on our African continent will tell the story of their audience journey to independence, democracy, and freedom. My fellow Zimbabweans, issues related to the welfare and economic empowerment of veterans, widows, and the war victims will continue to be given the attention they deserve. In our endeavor to mold lasting national consciousness that defends, upholds, promotes our founding values, the Minister of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services has conducted research on our fallen heroes. The Second Republic is aware of the need to memorialize the Liberation War through repatriation, reburials, and related processes to bring to closure to the families of deceased veterans. Apart from well-known bases such as Freedom Camp, Mukushi in Zambia, Nyazonya and Chimoyo in Mozambique, government is availing resources towards repatriating and reburying thousands of veterans who still lie in shallow and unmarked graves in and outside the country. The need to accurately record, document, and preserve the story of the liberation struggle cannot be overemphasized. There are numerous records which are available both in Zimbabwe and in countries that supported our revolutionary war. These require collation, annotation, and electronic storage to facilitate its retrieval. The Department of National Archives of Zimbabwe is also exploring partnerships with families of nationalists to establish liberation heritage archives and sites in all the 10 provinces of our motherland. The department has also compiled documentation of liberation heritage narratives with a special focus on the Kamungoma massacre site in Gutu, Bucha site in Lusape, and the former Zapasi assembly point in Buera, among many others. The Ministry of Veterans of the Liberation Struggle Affairs is expected to increase the visibility and awareness of their programs, inclusive of the benefits accruing to our veterans of the liberation struggle as well as their dependents. In addition, many injured war victims should be registered and compensated appropriately. The majority of widows of our heroes are not aware of their benefits, and some children are not in school and do not receive medical attention. We are therefore running awareness campaigns throughout the country, and the requests for assistance are being received. My fellow Zimbabwean dear comrades, our fourth Heroes Day commemorations are making a milestone in that we are conferring medals to a total of 184,310 veterans of the liberation struggle. We include 56,681 war veterans, 7,839 ex-political prisoners, detainees and restrictees, 110,374 war collaborators, and 9,990 non-combatant cadres. We will also confer honors and awards to deserving persons as follows: the Royal Order of Munumtapa, the Gold Cross of Zimbabwe, the Silver Cross of Zimbabwe, the Commendation Medal, and the Independence Medal. The conferment of medals on individuals who exhibited valor and performed distinguished humanitarian acts in various fields is intended to immortalize and memorialize the actions of these individuals. We are also honoring the Black Umfolosi for their song Unity, Unity, Unity. Which has stood the test of time. The song fosters unity in the recognition of the fact that we are one people, one nation of Zimbabwe, despite our diverse geographical locations. From Plumtree to Mtare, from Bad Bichirundi, we are one people, united by one national flag and one national anthem. Our democratic principles require sufficient dissemination of the Constitution. It is pleasing to note that constitutional advocacy sessions have now been conducted in all provinces of our motherland and cascaded to district level. In May this year, government conducted an induction and sensitization workshop for all chiefs on their newly granted role as marriage officers. The chiefs now have authority to preside over customary marriages and intervene in inheritance issues for the convenience of the general citizenry of their communities. Our commitment to efficient service delivery is unwavering. We are entrenching performance contracting, and exercise has been completed at most of our top levels. The ultimate target is to ensure value for money from all office bearers in government, while enhancing accountability to the nation that we save. Over and above this, the Second Republic recognizes the important role and the selfless sacrifices being made by our patriotic civil service officials towards the transformation of Zimbabwe into an industrialized and a knowledge-based upper middle country. My fellow countrymen and women, in line with our mantra, we are a friend to all and an enemy to none, we continue to form strategic alliances with our traditional as well as new partners in both our region and beyond. Today's celebrations come a few days before our hosting the SADC Summit of heads of state and government, where we will also be assuming the chairmanship of our regional board. Build-up events and activities have already commenced, including the SADC Industrialization Week, as well as the Standing Committee of Senior Official Meetings. I once again take this opportunity to thank all Zimbabweans for maintaining a peaceful environment across the length and breadth of our motherland. Our brand remains that of a progressive and a loving people who are hospitable not only to their kith and kin, but all persons created in the image of the Lord above. Let us all continue to make our visitors feel at home away from home, that we are one with them, and that they shall always be free to visit, whether on business or private affairs. That is the Zimbabwe that our departed liberators, whom we are gathered here to commemorate, would have loved to live in harmony, and always committed to the betterment of mankind. In conclusion, as we celebrate Heroes' Day, let us not take for granted the independence and the freedom that we are enjoying today, which was brought about by the sacrifices of the courageous men and women who fought against the brutal, racist colonial regime. I therefore call upon every one of us to emulate their lives through playing our part by laying the foundations for a more prosperous future for both present and future generations. Nika! Igotongba! Igonamatirwa! Hallelujah! As we honor our national heroes today, may we not only look back with admiration at their profound sense of patriotism, but also look at the future of our country and its unrelenting longing for the same profound sense of patriotism. To the families of our heroes and heroines, let me once again commit my government to the furtherance of the principles that inspired thousands to take up arms in the liberation of this nation. Our determination to look after your welfare is unwavering, and we shall always be bound by the lofty values, servant leadership, patriotism, and loyalty, as our great nation continues its relentless march towards the attainment of Vision 2030. As we would chant from the trenches of the struggle, Aluta! Aluta! And victory! Victory! May the dear souls of our departed heroes and heroines rest in eternal peace. Long live our unity, long live our peace, long live our freedom, and long live Zimbabwe. Ngiyabonga.
Thank you so much for staying with us as we continue to celebrate Heroes Day, giving you what is taking place at the National Shrine, the National Heroes Acre. And my guest, Dr. Leopold Chakanyuka, is still here. Doctor, Basically, from what President Emmerson Mnangagwa said, Zimbabweans must cherish and celebrate heroes. They must celebrate the sacrifices that were made by the gallant sons and daughters of the soil. You look at the developments that are taking place right now under the Second Republic, but then he also referred to what government is doing and what it needs to do to continue that process of appreciation of the national heroes, particularly in terms of paying school fees for the children of the war veterans, and also compensation, proper compensation and registration of war veterans, and also the issues of the surviving spouses, some of whom are not even aware of the benefits that have accrued to them by virtue of that association with the Liberation War heroes as well as our national heroes. What should be done particularly at this juncture? You've seen that for many years government has tried to appreciate our veterans, our heroes, but what else can be done apart from perhaps the tangible benefits?
Of course, I think it's very important, as the President has highlighted, that first of all, we need to cherish and thank those that fought for the liberation that we are enjoying today. So we can talk of what needs to be done, we can talk of the benefits, but what is very important is for us to first appreciate those who got us where we are today. We are about to host the SADC summit, right? We wouldn't have had this opportunity if it wasn't for these men and women who, some of them died fighting for the liberation and for the independence of Zimbabwe. And of course, we also need to move on, as the President has just said, that it is the responsibility of us who are alive, number one, to guard jealously, the independence of our country, to make sure that we continue to fight or to protect the liberation that our forefathers fought for. And then we do have a responsibility also to provide for our people, coming from the government and so forth. And I liked the idea that this was being said by the President. One thing I have realized and I've noticed, especially about our President, is he is someone who is, who understands, who actually knows, he's a hands-on person, who really understands the situation of the people and takes steps to address those issues. I am saying this because I'm looking at the development that has been happening in the country over the past 6 years. Realized that our people do not have water. He said, well, let's go into the villages and make sure we sink balls in every village. That's part of providing for the people. He realized that people are dying as a result of road accidents, bad roads.
As we speak, Doctor, just to intervene, the President is now moving together with the others, the Vice Presidents, going to lay wreaths on, particularly on the tomb of the unknown soldier. And perhaps we need to talk about that very important feature at the National Heroes Egg, the tomb of the unknown soldier, representing those whose remains have not been found or whose remains are lying outside the country or around the country at unknown places. What is the feeling, do you think, is now there, particularly with families whose relatives did not come back from the war?
I've been following the documentaries that you have been showing here on ZBC for the past few days. And as I've been, watching, you realize that the war of liberation is not what we probably read in the books or what we think it was. It was way more deeper than what we, this generation, could ever imagine. We were hearing, stories of people who died during the liberation struggle. Up to now, those people, their remains are not accounted for. People were killed like animals. Bombs were thrown on people, kids, and so forth. These were, died in either, you talk of Chimoyo, you talk of Nyadzonya, and so forth. They were thousands and thousands of Zimbabweans who died there, who never made it home. So the Tomb of Unknown Soldiers now, it's important in representing those particular people. We are watching as the president is lying wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier as a sign of respect and appreciation to those that were not accounted for, who died while fighting for the liberation of our country. So we, as the president is doing, thank them, appreciate them for the work that they did. And to the families, the president thanked them as well, that you gave us your children, you sacrificed your children who died for the liberation of our country. So today is that day where we try to honor them. And of course, we know it might not be enough, but it's important that we remember them, especially those. You know, a few years ago, I think you would recall the story of Chibondo, where we saw hundreds of bodies that were thrown in a mine and so forth. These are the stories of the liberation struggle. You know, from these past days, I've learned quite a lot as I've been watching on TV, where people will tell you how people were killed while some of them, they were running. They were trying to look for, cover and so forth, and they were killed. And right up today, most of these families don't know what happened to their children, and they died to liberate our country. So we thank them, we appreciate them, and we should continue. As a sign of respect to these people, we, the current generation, now have a responsibility to make sure that that which they fought for, they died for, we keep it safe.
Doctor, you're talking about the current generation. We have elderlies, we have the young ones, but particularly the youths. The president referred to issues of bravery, to issues of commitment, discipline. Those then, even him and his generation, at that particular time when they chose to go out of the country, train as fighters, and then liberate the country. The process, the whole process of liberating a nation was not an easy one. But today we are here and we are celebrating Heroes Day because we have heroes. We have men and women, young men, young women who said we are going out and we are going to train to fight and dislodge colonialism. And that was done successfully. Now we are looking at what is taking place on the ground socially in terms of provision of services, health, education. We talk of agriculture. Later on we're going to be talking about that with my next guest. But what lessons should be drawn, particularly from the experience of the liberation struggle? We are actually seeing there, perhaps before you respond, the president, we see the vice presidents, that's Dr. Chiwenga and Colonel retired Kembo Mohadi, after presiding over the processes of laying the wreaths on the tomb of the unknown soldier. You see actually there in the four, that whole, the list, so to speak, the role of honor, that's the National Heroes Eka, role of honor, that's on the East Wing. A whole list of national heroes who are laid to rest there at the National Shrine. What is it that the young ones can learn from being a national hero?
You know, we are all potential national heroes in a way, depending on how we are going to carry ourselves moving forward. You know, there's the statement or the mantra that the president is using resonate well with this day, that nyika inovakwa nevene vayo. The reason why I'm saying this is because we are saying it did not take foreigners to come and fight for the liberation of Zimbabwe. It took the children of Zimbabwe. They say to themselves, we have to sacrifice ourselves. If we are going to die, we are doing this for our nation. Whether we live or we don't, we are doing it for our country. Nyika inovakwa nevene vayo. So they fought nevene vayo. Exactly. So I'm saying that mantra, I think it should inspire us as the younger generation that indeed it is our responsibility. It is our only responsibility as Veneve Nyika, as Zimbabweans, to build, to work, and defend our country.
There you see actually the president again accompanied by the two vice presidents at the roll of honor that is placed or located at the West Wing. As I mentioned earlier, the issue that we have these individuals named by name, you know, they are known and their works speak for themselves. Which is perhaps why now and again there is that need to continuously remember, to continuously cherish, and to continuously celebrate. And again, the president laying a wreath at just in front of the West Roll of Honor that is there at the National Heroes Acre, a sign by the president and the leadership of the respect that they also give and accord to the many sons and daughters. These are not the only heroes that we have, as we said, the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, representing every other national hero, every other Liberation War hero, every other son and daughter of the soil whose life was lost in pursuit of Zimbabwe's independence. It's quite a busy day for the president, a busy program for him there. You see, he's leading proceedings as he's presiding over the national celebrations after having given his main speech. We also understand that across the country, celebrations are being held at provincial centers, being led by ministers of state who represent the president and perhaps reading from the president's speech across the country. So this is a national event that seeks to drive a national agenda of celebrating and honoring the country's heroes. As we continue to give you this update, we want to appreciate those of you who are joining us for this live coverage across our social media platforms on our ZBC Facebook page. That's ZBC News Online. I want to thank you, Doctor, for coming through for this program. Perhaps your last words before we release you.
My last words to the Zimbabweans is to say this day should be a reminder to us all that we are Zimbabweans and we have a responsibility, we have a duty to fight, protect our motherland. Those that died did their part, and now it's our responsibility to fight and make sure that we defend and protect and work for our country. And let's do it peacefully, with love and with unity.
Thank you, Doctor. Continue to give you what is happening, pictures coming from the National Shrine, the National Heroes Acre.
Thank you, thank you. Your Excellency, allow me to invite Honorable Minister Kazembe Kazembe to hand over to you, Your Excellency, national flags which are to be handed over to family representatives of national heroes who were declared posthumously. We are going to start handing over the flag to Amai Tongogara, and the flag is for the General Josiah Tongogara. The next flag will be given to Captain Gibson Kachana, the son to Brigadier General Gibbs Kachana, the late. The next flag will be given to Miss Danai Jirira, the granddaughter to the late national hero, Comrade Amon Jirira. The next flag will be handed over to Mr. Oliver Manyerenyere, the cousin to the late national hero Comrade Godwin Manyerenyere. The next flag will be handed over to Mr. Anthony Mandigona, the son to the late national hero, Comrade Simon Chingosha Nyandoro. The next flag will be handed over to Mr. Shadrach Guzuzu, the young brother to the late national hero, Comrade Samuel David Guzuzu. The next flag will be handed over to Mr. Norbert Matsikidze, young brother to the late national hero, Comrade Godfrey Dube. The next flag will be handed over to Mr. Walter Chatambudza, son to the late national hero, Comrade Christopher Chatambudza. The next flag will be handed over to Miss Jennifer Maramba, who is the sister-in-law to the late national hero, Comrade Arthur Maramba. The next flag will be handed over to Miss Elizabeth Sawana Mutendadzamera for the late national hero, Comrade Chebi Shedrack Sawana Mutendadzamera. The last flag will be handed over to Mr. Mate, who is the nephew to the late national hero, Comrade Pesintini. I thank you, Your Excellency.
Thank you so much for staying with us. This is a live coverage of the National Heroes Day celebrations taking place across the country. The main celebrations at the National Heroes Ega is presided over by President Emmerson Mnangagwa. Now in the studio, I'm joined by Mr. Bese Unyabadza. He is an agricultural expert as well as a social commentator. Mr. Unyabadza, we were just witnessing conferment of so to speak, national hero status and the awarding of those flags by President to families of national heroes who were declared posthumously. Among them, interestingly, are those who constitute the famous Chinhoyi 7. What is your analysis of this development? What would it mean to the families and to the nation?
Well, this is a historic moment for the respective families, the entire nation, that 44 years later, if you do good to Zimbabwe, the nation will never forget you. And this is what we have just witnessed. Now, we want our writers to write such history, preserve it for the national good for decades to come. And we must commend His Excellency and those who work with him to go back and dig this is value to the nation. It motivates us. And for those families, it happened way back.
Yeah, yeah.
They were slaughtered in the most violent manner. But today, as a nation, we now remember yesterday. Nation building is about yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And when we come together on such a momentous day like today and go way back and say, look, these guys played a part in liberating us, in making what we are today. So that's commendable, and we must commend those who have come up with such a program.
Indeed. Now, we look at the developments that have taken place. You have a special interest in agriculture. And the core, the bone of contention, what led to the War of Liberation was the issue of land.
Yes.
Now we do have the land, Mr. Nyabadza. What would you say? What has been happening across the land, across the length and breadth of Zimbabwe?
Well, today, as we commemorate our Heroes' Day, the first prize was to get back our land. And I think on the African soil, Zimbabwe has gone further than anyone else. Truly, the land is in our hands. We have total responsibility. The First Republic, led ably by the then president, Comrade R.J. Mugabe, was responsible for getting it back into our hands. Utilization of the land, extraction of value from the land, is the responsibility of Comrade E.D. Mnangagwa under the Second Republic. And really, the marathon is on. We are running the marathon. Zimbabwe's first prize is to see that we continue to have food sufficiency, food security. And I think that exercise is underway.
Certainly, we continue to follow proceedings as we give you what is taking place at the National Shrine.
By bestowing honors and awards to individuals whose achievements have bridged the threshold of the ordinary to be counted among the constellations of the heavens in the different areas of human activity. Ava vari kuimbawo muchashedzerwa kumaawadi mukasazvinzwa. The quality of the limited number of individuals approved for honor today bears testimony to the rigorous evaluation and the stringent criteria that only yield to the highest standard. In keeping with the commendable disposition of your government of bestowing acclaim to laudable individuals, Your Excellency, there are honors and awards to be granted today, whose bestowal has been appropriately notified. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Commander-in-Chief of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, and the Grand Master of the Zimbabwe Order of Merit, it is my honor and privilege to invite you, Your Excellency, the Grand Master of the Zimbabwe Order of Merit, to declare this assembly a convocation for the conferment of honors and awards, and confer honors and awards as it has pleased you, Your Excellency, and was notified by General Notice 1232 of 2024, Your Excellency, sir.
I, Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Commander-in-Chief of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, and Grand Master of the Zimbabwe Order of Merit, in terms of subsection 3 of Section 3 of the Honors and Awards Act, as read with Warrant 1 of 2023, Warrant 2 of 2023, Warrant 6 of 1981, and Warrant 5 of 1981, do hereby declare this gathering to be convocation for the conferment of honors and awards notified by General Notice 1232 of 2024.
Thank you, Your Excellency. May I now invite you, Your Excellency, to come to the front of the VVIP dais to confer honors and awards. The media, tinokumbira mungangodzikawo pasi mbichana kuitira kuti tipe space vari kunopuwa ma-awards. Just one step down. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. With your indulgence, Your Excellency, may I now call upon the Minister of Higher and Tertiary Education, Innovation, Science and Technology Development, Honorable Professor Amon Murwira, to present the citation for the Royal Order of the Munumutapa for Devnanda Popatau. Honorable Minister Murwira.
May it please you, Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Head of State and Government, Commander-in-Chief of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, and Grand Master of the Zimbabwe Order of Merit, Comrade Dr. Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, in terms of Section 3, Subsection 1 of Warrant 1 of 2023, as published in Statutory Instrument 143 of 2023, to award to Devnanda Popatlau the honor of the Royal Order of the Munumutapa in terms of Section 4, Subsection 1 of Warrant 1 of 2023, which states that, and I quote, the Royal Order of the Munumutapa may be awarded to any citizen of an African state in honor of their exceptional sacrifice and commitment toward the liberation and perpetual well-being of Zimbabwe as a nation, in close quote. Section 5, subsection 1 of the same warrant state that, and I quote, the award shall be granted to by the authority of the President. Devnanda Popatlau played a pivotal role in the establishment and support of ZANU-PF operations in Mozambique. In 1976, alongside Christopher Mandizvidza, he facilitated the opening of ZANU-PF first bank account at the Bank of Maputo, setting a financial base for the movement. He was also instrumental in setting up the first ZANU-PF office in Maputo, furnishing it with necessary equipment, including a secure safe, stationery, and the inaugural telephone system, including maintenance of facilities. Mr. Popatlau worked intimately with ZANU-PF leaders such as Edgar Tekere, Nathan Shamuyarira, Ernest Kadungure, Didmas Mutasa, and Christopher Mandizvidza, contributing significantly to administrative duties of the movement. Through his shop, Eliela, he provided the comrades with essential items like shoes, clothing, tools, blankets, plates, cups, and other equipment. He also facilitated connections with international aid organizations for additional support, such as Caritas, the Lutheran World Federation, International Committee of the Red Cross, and the Netherlands Embassy. Mr. Popatlau's generosity extended to his personal life, where he hosted in his home numerous ZANU-PF officials, sheltering them and risking his family's safety in the process. He hosted comrades such as Comrade Simon Vengai Muzenta, Josiah Magama Tongogara, His Excellency Comrade Dr. Emerson Damzo Mnangagwa, Herbert Usheo Kunze, Edgar Tekere, Ernest Kadungure, Ditmas Mtasa, Charles Njozi Daura Manzi, Meya Urimbo, and Nathan Shamuyarira, among others. He also provided first aid course at a military hospital in Maputo. Ms. Popatlau supplied various educational and agricultural equipment to foster education and culture. About 54 kilometers from Maputo, he helped rehabilitate a farm with irrigation systems, painting, carpentry, plumbing, and provided seeds, tools, chicken rations. Following the bombing of ZANU-PF offices in Maputo in 1978, he helped in the rebuilding efforts. Mr. Popatlau installed the metallic pole for the first Zimbabwe flag in Mozambique. He negotiated the transfer of property to the Embassy of Zimbabwe. Mr. Popatlau is actively involved today in fostering Zimbabwe-Mozambique relations through ZIMOFA. Mr. Popatlau's contribution to Zimbabwe's well-being extends beyond the War of Liberation. He has been a consultant in economic and social welfare programs focusing on Mozambique. He served on the board of trustees of the Zimbabwe National Army Tsanga Lodge Rehabilitation Center from 1998 to 2004, board of the National Railways of Zimbabwe, January 2001, December 2003, board of the Civil Aviation Authority of Zimbabwe, 2011-2014, board of the Zimbabwe Broadcasting Corporation, 2019 to 2024, board chairman of the Zimbabwe Airports Company of Zimbabwe, 2020 to 2023, and current member, board member of the National Handling Services and the Procurement Regulatory Authority of Zimbabwe. Mr. Popatlau is a holder of an MBA from the University of Gloucestershire, United Kingdom. It is befitting Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Head of State and Government, Commander-in-Chief of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, and Grand Master of the Zimbabwe Order of Merit, that you may be pleased to award Mr. Devnanda Popatlau the honor of the Royal Order of the Mnumutapa in terms of Section 4, Subsection 1 of Warrant 1 of 2023 as published under Statutory Instrument 143 of 2023. Your Excellency, sir.
Murune Murizo. Thank you, Your Excellency. Allow me now, Your Excellency, to call upon the Minister of Public Service, Labor and Social Welfare, Minister July Moyo, to present a citation for the Order of the Star of Zimbabwe and Platinum for Dr. Mishek Sibanda. Minister Moyo.
May it please you, Your Excellency, President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Head of State and Government and Commander-in-Chief of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces and Grand Master of the Zimbabwe Order of Merit, Comrade Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, in terms of Section 3.1 of Warrant 2 of 2023 to award Dr. Mishek Julius Mpande Sibanda the honor of the Order of Star of Zimbabwe in Platinum in terms of Section 4.1 of Foreign 2 of 2023, which states that, and I quote, "The Platinum Medal may be awarded to any citizen who distinguishes themselves in the field of politics and diplomatic services," end of quote. Dr. Mishek Julius Mpande Swanda, a distinguished scholar and a seasoned diplomat, is the immediate former Chief Secretary to the President and Cabinet, who served as the head of the civil service over an incredible period of 20 years. Dr. Swanda spent over 43 years in leadership and exhibited exceptional commitment to leadership, resonating with the mantra of the current leadership of the Second Republic. Before independence and while overseas, Dr. Mishek Swanda proved himself as a patriot of impeccable credentials as he assisted in the mobilization of resources for supporting the men and women in the trenches during the liberation struggle. A renowned historian, Dr. Mishek Swanda distinguished himself in academic circles. After obtaining his doctorate from the University of Birmingham in the United Kingdom, he lectured in Liberia before joining the then University of Rhodesia and now the University of Zimbabwe in the Department of Economic History in 1978 to 1980. From June 1980 to July 1982, Dr. Mishek Swanda served as the principal private secretary to Zimbabwe's non-executive president, Banana. The rapporteur of his service to the motherland he had helped to liberate includes, inter alia, secretary to the president from June 1980 to October 1982, as stated. The deputy secretary for labor and manpower planning and social welfare from 1982 to 1997. Zimbabwe's ambassador to the Soviet Union from June 1988 to 1990, and later ambassador to Russia, Ukraine, Belarus, Kazakhstan, Poland, and Iran until 1994. Senior Secretary for Administration in the Office of the President and Cabinet from July 1996 to May 2003, and Chief Secretary to the President and Cabinet from May 2003 to September 2023. Dr. Swanda served on boards of several international and local organizations, among them the University of Zimbabwe Council, the Zimbabwe Institute of Public Administration and Management, the East and Southern African Management Institute, International Smart Dialogue Forum. He also served as a founder and life member of the Commonwealth Association of Public Administration and Management. On authorship, the publications, Dr. Swanda published scholarly works in local and international journals, books on aspects of Zimbabwe and West African history, co-authored the Tabex Encyclopedia of Zimbabwe, and co-authored history texts for secondary schools, the African Heritage Books 1 to 4, which were taught in secondary schools. Dr. Mishek Swanda was instrumental in linking vocational colleges to universities, pioneering the Brand Zimbabwe campaign, and encouraging provinces to develop their comparative advantages, with resident universities taking the lead. He pioneered the documentation of cabinet systems, processes, and procedures, which culminated in the first ever cabinet handbook. In light of the foregoing, Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Head of State and Government, Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces, and Grand Master of the Zimbabwe Order of Merit, it is befitting that you may be pleased to award Dr. Mishek Julius Mpande Swanda the honor of the Order of Star of Zimbabwe in platinum in terms of Section 4.1 of Warrant 2 of 2023 as published under Statutory Instrument 144 of 2023. Your Excellency, sir.
Mururu nemuridzo. Aiwa tinotenda. Thank you, Your Excellency. Allow me, Your Excellency, to now invite the Minister of Tourism and the Hospitality Industry, Honorable Barbara Rhodzi, to present a citation on the Order of the Star of Zimbabwe in bronze for none other than Black Umfolosi for the song Unity, Unity, Unity.
May it please Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Head of State and Government, Commander-in-Chief of Zimbabwe Defense Forces, and Grand Master of Zimbabwe Order of Merit, Comrade Dr. Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, in terms of Section 3.4 of Warrant 2 of 2023, as published in Statutory Instrument 144 of 2023, to award to Black Umfolos for the song Unity, the honor of the Order of the Star of Zimbabwe Bronze Medal, in terms of Section 4.4 of Warrant 2 of 2023, which states that the Bronze Medal may be awarded to any citizen who distinguishes themselves in arts, culture, sports, and entertainment. Section 5.1 of the same warrant states that the award shall be granted on the authority of the President. Black Umfolos, the Bulawayo-based group, performed Impuwe or Capella song Unity that was written on the eve of signing ceremony of Zimbabwe's Unit Accord of 22 December 1987, which brought ZANU and ZAPU under the banner ZANU-PF. The song was composed by Dennis Ngomo, James Zikali, who are both late, and Socha Moyo, the current leader of the group. The song befittingly was unveiled and sung in tribute and celebration after the signing of the Unit Accord by the founding fathers of modern-day Zimbabwe, the late comrades Dr. Mkabuko Nyongolongomo and Robert Gabriel Mugabe. The song, particularly on 22 December 1987, was relevant to the signing ceremony. It echoed the aspirations of the nation, a rallying ethos, national healing, unifying people. The song's lyrics that are easy to sing and remember even endeared it to children who could easily sing along then as well as now and into the future. The song is monumental in that it was able to capture with accuracy the desires of a nation for unity, which formed the necessary base required to heal the nation from the war and consequently fight poverty and implement development. Black Umfolosi has continued to enrich the lyrics of the song but the original recording of the song was done in London in the United Kingdom while on tour by Black Umfolozi, as constituted by Sosha Moyo, the lead vocalist, Tomek Dube, Milton Ngube the late, Binia Puti the late, Dumisani Dube the late, Lucky Moyo, Dennis Ngomo the late, Tauraiti Chareva, and Morgan Moyo. The timeless song stands out uniquely as one of the Zimbabwe's icon songs of all time. Unity has become a classic song, synonymous with everything that keeps uncompromisingly to unity, kubatana, ukubambana, in our diverse yet unitary state. For Zimbabwe, the song appropriately identifies with ethos of both the first and second Chumrenga, Umvukela, and has the hallmarks and symbols that have etched it into a nation's psyche throughout generations in posterity, and now constitutes part of our cultural heritage. Today, the song Unity steadfastly remains iconic, prophetic, and true. A song the nation loves, a war cry for steadfastness, resilience. Step by step, Zimbabwe marches in unison, putting brick upon brick, building the nation. It is befitting, Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Head of State and Government, Commander-in-Chief of Zimbabwe Defense Forces, and Grand Master of the Zimbabwe Order of Merit, that you may be pleased to award Black Umfolozi the song Unity, the honor of the Order of the Star of Zimbabwe Bronze Medal in terms of Section 4.4 of Warrant 2 of 2023 as published under Statutory Instrument 144 of 2023. Your Excellency, sir.
Thank you, Your Excellency. With the powers vested in me as the Master of Ceremony, I direct that this Umfolozi sings again this song after the award ceremony. I thank Your Excellency. Your Excellency, allow me to now invite the Minister of Transport and Infrastructural Development, Honorable Felix Tapiwa Mona, to present 2 citations on the Gold Cross of Zimbabwe for Sirizani Butau and Jubilee Utsiwegota. Honorable Minister.
May it please you, Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Head of State and Government, Commander-in-Chief of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, and Grand Master of the Zimbabwe Order of Merit, Comrade Dr. Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, in terms of Section 3, Subsection 1 of Warrant 6 of 1981, as published in Statutory Instrument 677 of 1981, to award to Sirizani Butau the honor of the Gold Cross of Zimbabwe, in terms of Section 4, Subsection 1, Paragraph A of Warrant 6 of 1981, which states that, I quote, an award may be granted to any person for any act of the most conspicuous bravery in circumstances of extreme peril, end of quote. Section 5, Subsection 1 of the same warrant says that, I quote, an award shall be granted on the authority of the President, end of quote. Sirizani Butau is a haulage truck driver who on the 24th of December 2021 was on his way from Beira, Mozambique to Zambia, came upon the scene of a road traffic accident involving a fuel tanker haulage truck and a bus belonging to Beta Bus Company. On impact, the bus caught fire and people were trapped in the bus, Sirizani Butao, against human instinct of self-preservation, rushed to the aid of the trapped passengers, managing to extract at least 8 of the trapped. He attempted to rescue the fuel tanker haulage truck driver without success. Unfortunately, 5 could not be rescued and perished while 60 were hospitalized. In extricating the trapped passengers, Sirizani Butao suffered third-degree burns to his body that required him to be hospitalized for more than 3 months. He was hailed by His Excellency, the President, and the greater Zimbabwean population as a living superhero. And the affection of the Zimbabwe people towards him extended to generous donations towards treatment. It is befitting, Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Head of State and Government, Commander-in-Chief of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, and Grand Master of the Zimbabwe Order of Merit, that you may be pleased to award Sirizani Butao the honor of the Gold Cross of Zimbabwe in terms of Section 3, Subsection 1 of Warrant 6 of 1981, is published in Statutory Instrument 677 of 1981. Your Excellency, Sir. May it please you, Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Head of State and Government, Commander-in-Chief of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, and Grand Master of the Zimbabwe Order of Merit, Comrade Dr. Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, in terms of Section 3, Subsection 1 of Warrant 6 of 1981, is published in Statutory Instrument 677 of 1981, to award to Jubilee Utsiwe-Gota posthumously the honor of the Gold Cross of Zimbabwe in terms of Section 4, Subsection 1, Paragraph A of Warrant 6 of 1981, which says that, I quote, an award may be granted to any person for an act of the most conspicuous bravery in circumstances of extreme peril. Section 5, Subsection 1 of the same warrant states that, I quote, an award shall be granted on the authority of the President, end of quote. Ms. Jubilee Utsiwe-Gota and her family were victims of a robbery at house number 428 Forbes Road, Uplands, in the Waterfall suburb of Harare, when a robber gained entry by forcing the kitchen door open and demanded money. He started beating Ms.